I'm like a young Bill Kazmaier, swollen from the juice, prima bowling in my hemoglobin, chiefing on the spruce, rocking all white silk.
What's going on YouTube? It's Rocket. We're back with another video, and today we're talking about our top 10 list of who's gonna die in the Infinity War. And I want to know what you guys think in the comments too. If we thought of anyone that you didn't agree with at all, or someone you think that should have been on the list that's not. So I'm here with my friends, they're fellow comic book lovers. I'll let them introduce themselves.
I'm Eric, nice to meet you.
Hi, I'm Luke, what's up?
And we're just gonna hop right into this, guys. Our first guess for who's gonna die. This is gonna be in least likely, the number one order. Okoye, or whatever her name is.
Okoye.
Okoye.
Black Panther.
And what? You get your name.
I mean, I think it's not unlikely that she'll die. I mean, she's important to T'Challa and like the whole Black Panther side of things, and obviously a lot of the movie takes place in Wakanda, so it would be a big loss. But at the same time, we haven't seen enough of her necessarily in the MCU to like really be like, okay, yeah, she's definitely gonna die. But I wouldn't be surprised if they did kill her off, but I would also be kind of surprised. So
I think it's important that, not important, I don't want to see anyone die, but I think it would, instead of killing main stars, I think it would mean a lot to the Marvel Universe to kill, people close to those main heroes. So I wouldn't be surprised if people like Okoye, perish in Infinity War, but, who knows.
I mean, Robert Downey Jr. did say in an interview that heads are going to roll.
yeah.
Okay.
And that's, yeah, she's new. Is she the most important? No, she's not really.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, she got film time in Black Panther, but like his sister is more important. Like
Yeah,
someone
sure.
like her, she's not even on this list because we all agreed that she wouldn't be on there. So I'm thinking somebody is gonna die in like everyone's group. So in this one, I'm guessing her. But that's gonna be but she's kind of like on at least likely more because it's like a whatever.
Yeah.
If you die, no one's gonna be upset.
I mean, she's a badass, but
Number 9, we have Heimdall, which is he probably could be higher on this list. A lot of people are saying that he might be the Soul Stone. He's all this crazy stuff. We have never seen that much of him.
Yeah,
In the Thor
I
movie.
mean,
Very underutilized.
yeah, I mean, in like all 3 Thor movies, he maybe has, I don't know, maybe 20-25 minutes worth of screen time in like a whole trilogy, and like he did get to do some cool stuff in Ragnarok recently, but like people, like you said, like people are going to die, so I mean it would mean a lot for Thor because he fought with the guy, he's been friends with him for a while, but at the same time it's like the universe has to move on eventually, and by moving on, they're gonna have to get rid of characters, even though he is a big star like Idris Elba. They do have to kill people off. So, likely candidate.
Yeah, I think being that he's the one who, I think his story came full arc when he ferried the Asgardians to safety when Hela was taking over, and he's very important to the new Asgardian realm. But as we saw in the post-credit scenes of that movie, they're in danger, and being attacked by Thanos, Thor not being the one who dies right away, it might be Heimdall, which I think is pretty likely, and I think being that he's been placed as potentially being the source of one of the stones that he needs to complete the gauntlet, there's a really good chance that he's going to be the one who faces his wrath pretty soon.
Yeah, I mean, if this is the last time we're gonna see him, I will be disappointed in the lack of development that we've gotten from him.
Yeah.
Because it's one of those characters that the MCU could have done better with.
Mm-hmm.
Especially with the actor. What's the actor's name?
Idris Elba.
He's a great actor. I don't know
Yeah,
why they
he's
didn't
really
use
good,
him
yeah.
to the full capacity that he
Yeah.
is.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
That would be. I think he's on there, and you guys should thumbs up to that.
Yeah.
But I hope he doesn't. But he's on the list. We're gonna go to Wong. Wong's another one. Like we liked in Doctor Strange, but he's not that important. And if you gotta kill characters, his head is expendable. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A lot of the people on these lists are kind of like, eh. That's why they're on the list, because they're not going to kill you know, every main Avenger. So a lot of these guys are going to be like Wong caliber people.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
I mean, he's clearly powerful, and he's in the marketing. He's been in every trailer. I don't know about every single TV spot, but every trailer, you know, you see him on the posters, you see him, and like they're not even showing like per se like War Machine on every poster, but he's on a lot of posters. So it's like they are pushing that he's an important character in this film, and he was important to Doctor
You
Strange.
haven't even seen Ant-Man on any posters.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So it's like, why are they pushing him forward? Is he really taking a step up in the Marvel universe? Is he really going to be one of those mainstays, like, you know, like a Rhodey, like a Falcon? Is he going to be one of our favorite fan favorite minor characters, or are they setting it up like, okay, yeah, this guy's a big deal, but then he's gone, and that really affects Stephen Strange in a really negative way? Is that what they're setting up for? That's why he's on the list.
I think if he doesn't die in Infinity War, I think if they do a second Doctor Strange movie, that would be the catalyst to the second one. But that, you know, we have to wait and see. You know, I think he's kind of a mentor figure to Doctor Strange, so that would affect him a lot. And he's obviously one of the primary heroes for the movie, but they also haven't developed his storyline the amount they've developed the characters who have 3 movies or have been in all the, you know, big Marvel movies. So we'll see. I think it's definitely one of those things where he's a close person to Doctor Strange, so it would be a no-brainer to say that he's a potential person who's going to die.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, he's one of those who's funny, loved them, but like I said, expendable. And, you know, going up the list a little bit more, we have Nebula. It's going to slowly go higher up in caliber of people, so that's when we're slowly getting to our, you know, guesses for main Avengers. But right now, coming at number 7, we have Nebula. I think she's on that list because of the whole, you know, backstabbing. You know, she wants to kill Thanos. I can see her running in there, just guns blazing, just getting murked, honestly. I mean, she was cool, but we saw in the last Guardians, she said had that one funny scene of, you know, I want to rip his brains out and all this stuff, and the dude was like, so anyway.
It's not really realistic. Yeah.
So we all know her feelings are not hidden anyway of how she feels about Thanos. That's why I think that she's going to see an opportunity in her eyes to take him out, and it's going to end up her just being squashed like that trailer with Spider-Man.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree. I think what we've seen of Nebula so far has not been bad, but I also and they had a lot of story beats that they didn't in the first Guardians with the second one about the whole sisterhood. Like, all I wanted was the sister and stuff. So maybe it would affect the Guardians a certain way if Nebula was to die at the hands of Thanos or anyone else in the Black Order for that matter. And I mean, she did get that story arc in the second one that we saw, and she got a lot more screen time and stuff. So maybe, I mean, she's not my favorite character, but maybe a lot of people will feel it a lot more. But also, she's one of those characters where, like, they have to kill people, so why not kill one of these, like, semi-important but like kind of minor characters as well, kind of like the last couple of people that we mentioned as well. Like, she could be one of those one that's just, you know, like guns a-blazing, you're out, you know.
Yeah, and it's going to be reiterated later in the list, but they're not releasing the name of the 4th Avengers movie for a specific reason. So you have to think that these deaths are going to lead to more chaos within each group specifically. So the merger between the Guardians and the Avengers has to have something to do with people they lose and people they gain. So I believe Nebula is one of those people who, you know, she's not a fan favorite by any means, and her backstory is tied to Gamora and Thanos in a really, really integral way. So for them to get rid of her instead of, you know, other characters like Peter Quill or Rocket Raccoon would be, I think, the step that Marvel would take if they're trying to kill characters off.
Yeah, and just to piggyback off kind of what you're saying, she's tied to Thanos. I think that this is going to be the ending of the chapter of building up to Thanos, and including and ending that is what after her. You know,
Right.
if she's to survive, it's like everything about her is. I want, you know, it's like, okay, he's gone. Now what?
Yeah, what's
So,
her end game exactly?
Yeah, and
That's a good
also,
point.
I mean, it ties into it, but we might not get that Infinity War Part 2.
Right.
So this might be end all be all
Mhm.
by Thanos. We're never gonna see you again.
Yeah.
A lot of people are hoping like, oh, there's gonna be something, but they're gonna rename it. But they might make another one. But for all we know, it's gonna have nothing to do with them.
Yeah, it
So-
could be like the cleanup.
Yeah. So coming in at number 6 is The Vision.
Yes.
And I know a lot of people, he's on this list, because a lot of people see that scene when they're ripping the stone out of his head. But from what I've seen on, other YouTubers and stuff, he almost got it ripped out, because you don't see it in Thanos' gauntlet.
Right.
That's when Cap and the other Secret Avengers come in, save his ass. So I'm thinking, maybe he survives. I mean, yeah, there's opportunity later in the movie. I don't think that's his end scene.
No,
Definitely
I
not.
agree.
So I think if he is gonna die, it's gonna be later. I don't personally. This is a no vote for me. I don't think he's gonna die because, we've discussed that him and Scarlet Witch are trying to build that relationship. They're trying to do that big old comic book arc, which they have children and stuff. Which I don't think they'll go that far.
That was whole. Yeah, that was a whole.
But
Yeah.
I think that Scarlet Witch is new. She's not on this list at all. I think that they're gonna tie those two together as like their own team. So I think he's pretty safe. I don't know.
From what we've seen of Vision, he's a very important character, but I think he had his major thing in like one of the last scenes in Age of Ultron, him wiping out Ultron, and I think that from there, I don't think his character really has. I don't think he's anyone's favorite. I don't think no one's really like crying out for a solo film from him. So I think if they are gonna kill an obviously very, very powerful character, I think he is a good option. And let alone him having a stone in his head. That's like what animates him essentially. So I think at the end of the day, Thanos. He's gonna at whether it be this movie or 4 is like a part 2 to Avengers 3. Like if he assembles it now or later, I think eventually Thanos will have all of the stones, and so in having all those stones, he's gonna need to kill Vision at some point, and I think he's ripe for the taking. I think it also will play into Scarlet Witch's storyline really cool because we saw in Age of Ultron. When, spoiler alert, if you're watching this, obviously her brother died, and then in Civil War, she inadvertently killed a bunch of people. I think this will play into her arc. If he does die, she'll go completely insane, and we'll see the height of her powers as well. So I think it'll be a good catalyst to that whole thing playing out. So I think he has a very likely chance of dying in this video or in this movie. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I think in this movie, even if he doesn't die, his power will be reduced to a very small fraction of what it is without the stone in his head, and I think that leaves him vulnerable, and I think it leaves other people vulnerable who have to save him. So if he doesn't die, I think the story around him is going to lead to other people's deaths, and which is dangerous because obviously he's one of the more powerful characters, and him being vulnerable leaves everyone vulnerable, let alone those trying to save him. So yeah, I think there's a good chance that he can perish, or his storyline can lead to those saving him to perish.
I agree with what you guys are definitely saying, and he's just a main character, and he's a main character we haven't seen that much.
Right.
So that's why my vote's gonna be no for. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. I know it's a big 50-50 on Vision. It's pretty controversial with that subject. But I'm going to tie number 5 and 4 together because it is Gamora and Drax. I know you guys are trying to think that we're just trying to kill the whole Guardians cast here. But Drax and Gamora, just like Nebula, big ties to Thanos.
Yeah.
And to go back to we're closing the book of Thanos, that's why they're on this list.
No.
Drax, he's looking for revenge, just like with, what's his face, the blue guy, if you ever heard his name. Ronan.
Yeah.
He just went out there and he was ready to risk it all right there and then. He's going to do the same thing with Thanos, I think. It's just a logical thing. And Gamora, I can see her trying to save Nebula or something like that, or Thanos coming for her specifically out of everyone else and taking her out. I mean, that's why those two are on this list.
I mean, I think with Gamora, I think it would be important for Peter Quill's character because, I mean, I know it was like kind of out of left field that Peter Quill had all these like celestial abilities, and I thought that was, I didn't really like Guardians
Which
2
I
as
wish he
much.
kept.
Right, yeah, but like maybe the emotional pain of seeing Gamora die, like this alien that he's been after for the past 2 movies, like he's in love with, obviously. Maybe he will get those powers back, and that would be a big way to help defeat Thanos and his followers. And I think that would be really cool to see.
Major power ups that happen.
Yeah, and it also you're saying, like, it's a closing of the book on the Thanos thing because they've been leading it up for so long, and like some of these characters have such ties to him. Like afterwards, it's like, what are we gonna do? And also with Drax, I think he's another one of those characters that it's like, what happens after Thanos? I don't know if everyone saw that leaked video, but it kind of seemed like he was gonna do some stuff that was not gonna go the right way for him because it didn't even look like a major scene necessarily. But I don't know. I think Drax has a really good chance of dying as well.
Well, you said James Gunn said that.
Yeah, James Gunn, exactly. James Gunn said that the whole Guardians lineup would look pretty much different come Guardians Volume 3. I think that we're holding on to our mainstays, but I mean, I know the team only consists of like 5 or 6 individuals at this point, but those characters so tied to Thanos is, Gamora, Nebula, Drax, like all them. I think they have a very good chance of, leaving and, not returning for sequels and all that.
In my eyes, they're just the Space Avengers, and just
Yeah.
like the Earth Avengers, they can rotate.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Kind of like, I don't know if you guys watch DC's Legends of Tomorrow. That show is, this guy can't have his own solo show, so
Right.
we're gonna throw him in the island of misfit toys,
Mhm.
and that's what they're gonna use as Guardians.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think they're gonna get a really big revamp if they do lose characters. I think that's another one of the primary points of if they do kill any of these 3 characters we have so far on the list. I think that, like some people have said, Captain Marvel will be on the team of Guardians of the Galaxy and not Avengers. But we have to wait and see if that'll happen because that movie's coming out in a year. So hopefully that sheds some light. But I think post Infinity War we're gonna have a completely different picture between all these movies coming out after it. I think these deaths are potential. I think Drax, just like in the comics, is going to try to kill Thanos just like everyone, but he might not do it in the most graceful way because everyone knows Drax. He's kind of more thinks with his heart kind of guy, so he's definitely vulnerable.
Alright, we're going to our final 3, and number 3 is Iron Man, my favorite, Tony Stark. He's not the Godfather, he's the father of the MCU. I can't see him being kicked out or being killed or whatever, but it's a possibility. Like I said, they might want to get rid of somebody at the Holy Trinity. There's a lot of Cap fans out there. Maybe people said they had enough Iron Man. I don't want to see him go, but my jaw's not hitting the floor if he dies. I'm not going to be like blown out the water. I can't believe it.
Yeah, I mean, I think he has a decent chance of dying. I'm pretty sure he wants to stay around, but also, we're getting into that next phase of Marvel, not just like phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, but a whole nother realm of Marvel. I think it would be really cool if he stuck around, joined another team, maybe just made little appearances here and there like he did with Civil War and Homecoming. I think it would also be cool if they did an Iron Man 4, but like, he's been around for so long. It's been over 10 years at this point.
2008, Iron Man 1.
Right, exactly. So maybe they are gonna, just move past that whole part of it. Like you said, it's Cap, Iron Man, and Thor. So I think one of them has to go. We know that he is in Avengers 4, but is that a time travel thing, or did he really die and they're just going back in time to, figure out how they can defeat Thanos and the Black Order? So I know they're trying to usher in Black Panther, Spider-Man, and Doctor Strange, Captain Marvel, those kind of characters to move forward with Marvel. So if they're going to leave some of their mainstays behind, that would be super surprising.
Yeah, I agree. I believe it would make sense if Iron Man died for the longevity of the Marvel Universe. For them to hold on to characters like, Iron Man, it would take a lot more effort to have him in movie roles such as he was in Homecoming. And I think to move the series on, having Iron Man, have an exit would make, all the sense in the world. Do we want him to die? Of course not. I think he's the most important character in the series, but I think for the Avengers and for the Marvel Universe as a whole, less focus on that character or other characters like him would give more room to other characters, other smaller characters to bud and to grow as major characters like he is.
Yeah, I mean, my favorite. Hope he doesn't die, but like I said, Charles, my mouth's not gonna hit the floor if he does die. Number 2 is Cap, and he's tied up there with number 1, just because his contract's ending. It's just been a lot of talk about him dying. Everyone's just saying who's gonna replace. And people always say who's replacing him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's almost like it's a shoo-in.
Yeah.
I might make a video on Bucky versus Sam, who's gonna take the spot, or if no one takes the spot, the Captain America rule's dead. I doubt they'll do that. It's kind of an iconic thing, but I think Cap's gonna be Dunzo, because like I said, the Holy Trinity, Cap, Iron Man, and Thor. One of them is likely that one of them is gonna die, just because we started with them, and this is the end of an era for the MCU, and they're trying to expand everything else. So he's on my top. So let me know what you guys think.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely has paid his dues with Marvel. He had many story arcs. I mean, I think his movies are the best of the Marvel movies, The Winter Soldier being number 1 for me. I mean, of course, like, The Avengers is the Marvel movie, but Captain America really has been a mainstay at Marvel, and, like, people at first kind of in his first movie and then The Avengers were like, he's just too much of a Boy Scout. He's just, kind of, he's such white bread, kind of. But, then we saw Winter Soldier, Civil War, like how he was even in Age of Ultron, and we're like, damn, like Cap has really turned into a badass, and his storylines are really like some of the most rich storytelling, told by the Russo brothers, who, really came together and made him a cool character.
I'm getting sick of him because I think they're making him way too OP though.
Yeah, I mean, he is pretty OP, especially with the catching Thanos' glove. I mean, what's
So
that
stupid.
all about?
And just get off subject real quick. If it was called Iron Man Civil War, Iron Man would have won. That was the only
Iron
reason.
Man did win.
I don't know if everyone's like, oh, Iron Man got bitched. No. A, no, he didn't. B, that was bullshit ending. Like I said, if it was Iron Man Civil War, he would have won.
Yeah,
That's the
I
only
mean,
reason Captain America won.
Captain America is like the good guy in it, essentially.
But he's not, because he knew what Bucky did.
Yeah, but Bucky
Yeah,
was
that's-
under the
That's besides the
that's
point.
the
To get back
beside the
to
point.
if you think he's gonna
Cap
die.
is gonna be in Avengers 4, but is that a time travel thing, just like our speculation with Tony Stark? Are they just back in time, going back and like talking to them then, or is it really like his character dying in Infinity War? Probably, because they have to get rid of some major characters. It can't just be those minor roles like Nebula or even Drax, who's not a major player in the whole scheme of things. Like, are they really going to get rid of their main guys? And it might be Cap. So yeah, that's my thinking.
Yeah, I think it would make sense to get rid of Captain America or Steve Rogers. Do we want to see him go? Maybe not. But I think for them to, just like I said, for Iron Man to have the series go on, I think someone else taking up the helm of Captain America and getting rid of Steve Rogers, either because he leaves on his own or because he dies, I think it would make sense. And bless you. I think being that there's the main 3 Avengers as Iron Man, Captain America, and Thor, I think Thor just got a revamp that no other character has seen such a great improvement after 2 movies of just kind of droll storytelling, and kind of it didn't really affect the rest of the story as far as this entire universe. But then the third movie came around, and Ragnarok really turned around the Thor character. So I think getting rid of him wouldn't really make sense, and that's why he's not on our list. But for them to get rid of Captain America, it would make sense. He's a strong man. He's a great leader. He's very
So dreamy.
he's very very his beard.
Thanks for thinking of me.
But I think it would make sense to get rid of him for a number of reasons. So if there is a vulnerable Holy Trinity member, I think it's Captain America.
Yeah, I mean, these are not shockers if they die. We all know that. This goes to our number one, who is definitely not a shocker out of everyone here, and that is Loki. Love him, hate to see him go, but I know it, you know it, and he made a very, he grew on us, over the years. He's definitely a core MCU member, no argument about that. If you tell me right now, 100% he's gonna die, he's not coming back. I'm already emotionally prepared for it.
Right.
But even if you say he's gonna die, I'm still during the movie gonna go like, no, like he just left that impression on us, and I appreciate the actor for making that role as well as he did. But it's just one of those things that we're on to new chapters.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it would definitely say something if the favorite of the Marvel villains, quote unquote, because he has had his turns as a helper to Thor and whatever, but he is our favorite villain in the MCU. I think it would say something major if our favorite villain, who we don't want to see go because he's that good, was killed by the real big bad, the real bad guy, Thanos. I think that would really set the tone for the film of Infinity War. I think it would be a really it wouldn't be a shocking story element, but it would really push the story forward. It would really be like, okay, yeah, this is the guy that you should be afraid of. Loki was he was down here, and here's Thanos. He is the worst. I mean, also Loki's had his fair share of screen time. He's had a whole lot of arcs per se. He's played the bad guy. He wanted to take over not just the city of New York, but the entire world. He failed, but then he was a good guy, kinda. He faked his death a couple times. So I think people are kind of over that whole trope with his character. It's either be good, be bad, and another out is just getting straight up killed. So it would suck because he is one of the favorites in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. He's one of the people that we were actually damn, that would suck. But like Anthony said, we are all very emotionally prepared for that. So,
Yeah, I think it would make sense for Loki to die for a number of reasons, but I think number one is I think it would launch Thor into a motivational mode to get rid of Thanos, and that's really the reason that I think that Loki has a really good chance of dying. So, barring a huge explanation, I believe Loki is just vulnerable. He might have had poor intentions in the past, but I think having the arc through Thor Ragnarok to having good intentions and aiding Thor in helping Asgard, I believe Loki's gonna die and Thanos is gonna be the one to do it.
Yeah. But that's our top 10 guys. We have one honorable mention, not to get into it, but it's Pepper Potts. If you wanted to add a 12th, you could say Hawkeye, but we talked about it. We thought it's too dark. We all know he has a family. He's not going to die. But let me know in the comment section what you guys think. If we're right, if we're wrong, if you have new ideas. I'm willing to make a video about anything you guys want me to talk about. But this is Rocky View. We're out.